Namaste, dear friends, all esteemed guests and all viewers. It's such an honor to be here in front of all of you today, especially standing here as a unit commander of the premier law enforcement agency of Nasik City. Nasik City, our own metro, with its rich history, culture, religious heritage, the Devbhoomi, or the land of gods. Now, just a brief something about me. A civil servant by profession, I am committed to public service. But as a person at the core, I'm just the boy next door, born and brought up in a strict and cultured and happy middle-class family in Mumbai, happily commuting to school and college in public transport, trying to find jobs after engineering and MBA, and a brief stint of working in the public sector. Now, I'm thankful to God for this background and upbringing because it gives me strength and deeply influences my approach to life and work in leadership, policing, and citizen service. Now, coming back to the topic, as I speak to you, it feels only natural that we draw parallels from our history and culture, the foundations on which we have been brought up, and what has shaped us all. Nasik, the city of gods, the city we are currently in. Now, this is a place where Lord Sri Ram is supposed to have stayed in exile. This is the place, this is the land where he vanquished 14,000 evil demons and granted protection, abhay to the righteous. Now, just to remind you, the Breed Vakya or the motto of Maharashtra Police is Sad Rakshanaya Khal Nigaranaya. That means protect the good and eliminate the evil. Now, if there were evil demons to be slayed at that time, what does that imply? It implies that there was crime and criminals even then. Nasik, this very soil which had witnessed the battle between the good and evil, it continues to grapple with the problems of crime and the modern challenges to policing like all the other cities of the world. Now, fast forward to the present day. The Indian police and the Indian administration was a colonial legacy. It was founded by the British to rule the Indian natives. So the DNA of policing of this country was structured to enforce compliance and not to inspire trust. Even after independence, this rigid mindset has persisted in one way or the other. Now, this is the modern day Indian police. We have been reminded time and again to shift towards a service-oriented approach by our great leaders. Now, to start with, the architect of our country's constitution. You know, there's a famous quote, a great man is different from an eminent one, in the sense that the great man is ready to become the servant of the society. Now, the father of our nation, what has he said? That leadership at one time means muscles, but today it means getting along with people. Now, coming back to our Honorable Prime Minister, who in his vision of Vikasit Bharat says, in strong words, Vikasit Bharat is not just technological progress. It is about fostering a governance ecosystem that nurtures the dreams, aspirations, and hopes of every Indian, transforming the negative perception of government machinery into a system that actively supports its citizens. Now, coming back to the state of Maharashtra, in the words of our Honorable Chief Minister, Hum Shashak nahi sevak hai. We have been experimenting with this simple yet powerful idea of citizen-centric policing. Powerful and simple only if done right and executed in a structured manner. We began by asking ourselves, what if we listened before we acted? What if we asked before we assumed things? What if we engaged rather than enforced? We came to design a straightforward, impactful three-step approach. Now, first step is listening to the people. So actively seek feedback from the people for whom you are going to work, whom you are going to serve, in the society that you are going to police. Then customize responses. That is the step 2. One size fits all approach cannot work. Every community, every locality, every area is different. Everybody has a different problem. And we have to tailor make our strategies and policing responses to the needs of the community and the locality. Now, step 3, act and inform. Whatever feedback the people give you, you have to act on it. What actions you have taken, you have to inform the public, and you have to seek further feedback from them. Are we on the right track? Is your feedback gone properly into our policing strategies? If yes, please let us know. If no, please advise us for further improvements. Now, saying this all is very easy, but how to actually put it into action? Now, to put this philosophy into action, we leveraged the power of technology, the power of social media, especially the messenger tools that are today available and an integral part of people's lives with huge reach. And also they help us document things very easily and with minimum manual interventions. We launched a single point contact number, a feedback number of the unit commander, that is me. And we asked the citizens that you can directly contact the unit commander and give your feedback. Citizens can reach us by messages. Most importantly, we had both technology and systems in place. If we get 500 messages, if we get 10,000 messages, we can categorize them, we can send them further for action, and we can monitor to the end what action has been taken. Now we ask the citizens simple questions. How can we serve you better? What changes you need? What improvements you need to do in the policing in your area? What are your biggest concerns about policing? To our sisters and our mothers, we asked, do you feel unsafe any time, any place in this city? Do you want to flag off some spots where nuisance makers, miscreants, what we call Nasik lingo, Tawalkhor? So please tell us the spots, please tell us the time, please tell us the issues. Then we ask them, do you come across any content on social media which glorify crime, which glorify criminals, and you don't know what to do? Then last but very important, something which all of you face, character verification and passport verification. We have asked the citizen, do you find any delay? More important, we asked them through our social media handles, was there any demand for money from any of our person? Now the response was overwhelming. We got a lot of feedback, and every message was not just a complaint, it was a voice for change. We took it as a voice for change. Now first things first priority was women's security. So we prioritized and compiled women's safety related message, all the messages that had come from women or related to women's safety. And then we devised some action strategies according to the issue. What is the issue? Which area it is? What days it happens? It happens on some college days, school days, or what area and what time? So according to the feedback, we devised our strategies. Now these are our Nirbhaya and our Damini squads. So we rejuvenated them, we gave them facilities, we gave them good manpower. And our Damini, Nirbhaya and Gunda squads, they swung into action on roads. In a city of around 2.5 million population, we have till date, we have taken a total actions of 11,830 actions in this field. Around 6,600 miscreants or eve teasers have been booked. We have helped around 177 women and children in distress. Our people, the Damini squads, the Nirbhayas, they have visited 1,150 schools and colleges. They have interacted with the girls there. They have interacted as their police didis or their police elder sisters and their police kakas or their police uncles. Now, we put these actions in social media through our handles. And not just that we got the likes, but we got a lot of boosted confidence from the citizens in Nasik, from the women in Nasik. We got more feedback from the women. And most important, we got a lot of blessings. We even encouraged women that you make your own videos about what you feel. You will create awareness among all the women. Now, one such video which was made by a women citizen for us about how exactly to reach Damini marshals in time of distress. It got an astounding 2.6 million views and 1.2 lakh people forwarded it, mostly women. It created a chain of awareness and a support system for women. Now, one of the most important nuisance that we saw, what the people gave us feedback in Nasik city was street crime, public nuisance. The Tawalkhor, which was a local slang for miscreants. And we got a lot of feedback on that. Many women were contributing to this. When we asked them, where do you feel unsafe in the city? We started our Operation Road Dominance. Police station and crime branch teams swung into action. Now, as you can see, we have been rounding up people. For a perspective, a city of 2.5 million people, In 1 year, we have rounded up around 34,981 nuisance makers, and we have taken preventive action on them under the provisions of law. Now, the next thing was citizen services. Citizen services, what are the most important citizen services? Emergency response. You dial 112 and a policeman reaches you. Then passport verification, character verification. Most of the population have very little interface with the police except for passport. We all take out our passports. We all need character verifications for various purposes. So that has to be a very good process. And maximum public interface where it occurs, we want it to be without any delays and without anyone asking you money, without any corruption. Now the average time taken for the citizen response, dial 112 is a centralized emergency response system. So in 2023, it was 8.36 minutes in Nasik city. We made some efforts and we got it down to 4.33 minutes, almost half of what it is today. Next comes something which is very important. We streamlined some of our own inefficiencies. Inefficiencies are everywhere. We eliminated some delays. We eliminated some corruption in the verification process. And openly we ask the citizens through our social media handles, in your passport or character verification, is there any delay? Has anyone from our end been asking you illegal gratification? Have there been any corrupt practices? Is there any cash demanded by our staff? We got some feedback on that, but because of our efforts, the passport verification, which was before 15 days, has come down to 8 days now. The character verification, the character certificates which we give, before it was 16 days, today it has come down to 7 days. Now, one very important aspect of today's life, today's social psychology is dominated by the cyber world, what is happening in the cyber world, what is happening with social media. And there are many criminals who just want to show off or for their own creating dominance in the field. They take to social media, flaunting their weapons or make some reels, some videos. They create an atmosphere of fear. And many times they influence young minds by glorifying this type of criminal behavior and lure them into delinquent behavior and a future in crime. So we started this initiative of cyber patrolling and cyber policing. So we asked all the citizens in our cyber patrolling initiative to flag such content. Tell us what you have seen. Have you seen anything like that? From our social media lab, we also track such content, but citizens are free to tell us. And the response was overwhelming. In just 1 year, we have took down the reels, which had almost 27.6 million views and 1.3 million likes. They were reported by the citizens and we have taken them down. Now, let's see what these figures. They are just not numbers. They represent millions of people who are subconsciously or consciously getting influenced by the glamorization of crime. And a percentage of it, if it is unchecked, that's a small percentage or a big percentage, we don't know. They will go on a path of crime and negatively impact our cities, something which is a birthplace of future crime. So we didn't just remove the harmful content. We have disrupted the pipeline of impressionable minds being conditioned into criminality. Now, these are just a few of the points, but this is the power of resonance between citizens and public institutions, what we can together, what we can achieve. And this is how communities, when they're empowered, become the most effective force in shaping a safe society. But this is just a few initial steps, baby steps. They signal a shift towards resonance-based governance. The power of resonance between citizens and the public institution. And this is not just about Nasik. This is the future of policing. This is the future of governance. The age of authoritarian policing, the photo that you saw, the British Raj policing is over. The age of participatory and citizen-driven policing has begun. We have to evolve. The citizens have to participate. The institutions have to resonate with them. We all have to evolve. We must listen. We must resonate with the people whom we serve. Not just for policing, but for every sphere of governance in our nation, for every institution. Because when institutions and citizens resonate, the nation rises. Now, as civil servants, what is our duty? We have to seamlessly capture your feedback. And we have to monitor that feedback and make our systems work in resonance by establishing some very crystal clear processes. And most importantly, leveraging the easy to use technology, which has a huge reach today with the public and the social media. Now, I stand before you not just as a unit commander of a law enforcement unit, but as a firm believer in this idea that we are public servants and we are here and we are meant to serve the people and the nation. I will quote the words of an historical personality. In the words of the great Hiroji Indulkar, who served under the legendary King Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, he had his expertise in building forts. Now, because of his crucial role in making these forts, Maratha Empire became impregnable to the enemies. Now, Hiroji Indulkar has his quote carved on a step in the Raigad fort. He says, Sevecha Tait Tatpar. It means very clearly, prompt in service. And that is what we all have to be. To sum up, service approach creates great nations. So let's serve, not rule. Shashak nahi sevak. Jai Hind.